Hey guys, looking for new Metroidvania games? Then you've come to the right place. We've already started the list with Moadra, a sci-fi Metroidvania game with a dark atmosphere, developed by Gloomsoft, an independent Finnish studio, inspired by classics like Metroid and the cosmic horror aesthetic of the Alien franchise. You take on the role of Lieutenant Moadra Maris, a member of the Nera Special Force, sent to the planet Protea 6 to investigate the fate of an expedition that lost contact. The goal is to unravel the mysteries of a civilization extinct for 20,000 years. The planet is described as a hostile environment with arid deserts, frozen peaks, lush caves, and abandoned research facilities infested with alien creatures. Moadra follows the classic Metroidvania structure, focusing on exploration, intense combat, skill progression, and backtracking. Combat is difficult, requiring quick reflexes and strategic tactics. Moadra faces everything from smaller enemies to colossal monsters in multi-stage battles that test all of the player's skills. Inayah, Life After Gods, 2D action platformer with Metroidvania elements, developed by Exogenesis Studios and published by Head Up Games. The game is set in a post-apocalyptic world, full of mysteries and secrets left behind by an advanced alien civilization. The protagonist, Inayah, an orphan, embarks on a dangerous journey to find her tribe, guided by the spirit of her mentor. Her decisions shape her destiny and the unfolding of the story. The story follows Inayah as she explores a vast 2D world with diverse biomes, each with its own secrets. She uses her movement skills and her companion drone, Sputnik, to discover hidden paths and treasures. Gameplay involves mastering different forms of her glove, which transforms into blades, a whip, and fists, each with unique combat and movement capabilities. Players can customize Inayah's progression with upgrades and amulets, developing each weapon form with skill trees to adapt their playstyle. Aeterna Lucis is the highly anticipated sequel to the successful game Aeterna Noctis, an action-adventure platformer of the Metroidvania type. Developed by Aeternum Game Studios, the game promises to maintain the formula that made its predecessor famous, adding new elements and improvements. The narrative of Aeterna Lucis takes place after the events of Aeterna Noctis. The Queen of Light, the protagonist of this new adventure, faces a new existential threat, the supreme god of chaos. The search for the location of an ancient enemy is intertwined with the fight to prevent total destruction. The story will be told through dialogues, item descriptions, and environmental elements without interrupting the flow of gameplay. The game promises to expand the lore of the Aeterna universe, revealing more details about the curse of the two monarchs. Aeterna Lucis maintains the focus on fast combat, exploration, and an interesting story. As a Metroidvania, the game features a large, interconnected world, with new abilities unlocked throughout the adventure, allowing the player to explore new areas and access previously inaccessible locations. The Perfect Pencil is a 2D action platformer with a deep psychological narrative developed by Studio Sima, an Italian indie studio founded in 2019. The player controls John, a protagonist with a camera-shaped head who awakens in a surreal and hand-drawn realm called the Realm of the White Beast. The story is a journey of self-discovery and personal growth, where John faces the terrors that inhabit his own mind. The game explores themes such as fear, anxiety, self-knowledge, and human psychological reactions, using metaphors and allegories to convey its message. The game's visual style is described as surreal and hand-drawn, suggesting a unique and potentially artistic aesthetic. The atmosphere is set to be a mixture of darkness and comfort, creating a visually interesting and possibly intriguing experience. There are several side missions scattered around the world for those who wish to explore beyond the main path. Sliding Hero is an adventure and puzzle game with Metroidvania elements, where movement is the key to gameplay. It is being developed and published by Silent Chicken, and is scheduled for release in 2025 on PC. There is already a demo available on Steam. The main difference of the game is its movement mechanics. The player slides in a single direction until they hit an obstacle. This turns each movement into a puzzle, requiring the player to think carefully before acting. The game is described as a top-down puzzle Metroidvania. This means that it combines the non-linear exploration, the unlocking of new abilities, and the return to previously inaccessible areas typical of Metroidvanias, with puzzles that use the sliding mechanic. Combat in Sliding Hero is not just about attacking enemies. It requires the player to use the environment and the enemies themselves to their advantage, turning puzzle elements into combat opportunities. You will need to use weapons, artifacts, and your own momentum to defeat enemies and avoid traps. The Swordfish, Knight of the Deep, is a 2D action-adventure game developed and published by Wonderbrain, scheduled for release in 2025. The game puts the player in the role of a sword-wielding fish, embarking on a journey to restore order to the depths of the underwater kingdom. The game is characterized by its pixel art aesthetic, a vast and interconnected underwater world. After an unprecedented storm, the player finds himself trapped in an underwater cave full of predators. Upon discovering a mysterious sword, he acquires powers and sets off on an adventure to explore a hidden world inhabited by friendly and dangerous creatures. The journey involves exploring a vast and interconnected world, fighting enemies and bosses, acquiring new weapons and abilities, and solving puzzles. The player can also help friendly sea creatures by completing tasks and participating in minigames. A Sister's Journey is a pixel art Metroidvania action game scheduled for release in 2025. The game is characterized by its challenging difficulty and frenetic pace. The story follows Violet in her search for Reina, her sister who mysteriously disappeared before a highly anticipated meeting. Reina's disappearance triggers dangerous and mysterious events, leading Violet on an epic journey through a world full of dangers and wonders. Gameplay involves intense combat, with players facing hordes of enemies and challenging bosses. Treacherous traps and environmental hazards require precise movements and quick actions for survival. The game is designed to be difficult, but fair and surmountable. The game features a charming and detailed world in pixel art, created manually. The pixel art contributes to the unique atmosphere of the game. LUCID is a 2D action platformer in the Metroidvania style, with pixel art graphics which will be released soon. Developed by LUCID Games, the game puts the player in the role of Owen, who must navigate a crystalline world devastated by a calamity. Gameplay focuses on precise platforming, challenging combat, and the absorption of abilities that expand Owen's movement and combat capabilities. The game promises a challenging platforming experience with environmental puzzles. Ability absorption is a central mechanic, allowing the player to progress through previously inaccessible areas and face more powerful enemies. The pixel art seeks inspiration from the golden age of 2D platform games, creating a visually appealing and nostalgic atmosphere. The game is focused on one player. The world of LUCID is described as Crystal Punk, a post-apocalyptic setting with elements of fantasy and magic, set in a world of crystals fragmented by a mysterious dissonance. The story revolves around Owen's journey to discover his own destiny and unravel the mysteries behind the calamity that plagued the world. Pipistrello and the Cursed Yoyo is a 2D top-down adventure and platform game, developed by Pocket Trap, a Brazilian studio, and published by PM Studios. It is generating a lot of expectation for its unique proposal, being described as a Yoyovania. Pipistrello and the Cursed Yoyo stands out for its main mechanic, the use of a yo-yo. You take on the role of Pipit, a yo-yo master, who finds himself involved in a complex family plot. The soul of his aunt, Madame Pipistrello, is trapped in a cursed yo-yo, and together they need to regain the Pipistrello family's influence in the city, facing rival crime bosses. Gameplay combines elements of combat, platforming, puzzle solving, and exploration, all centered on yo-yo maneuvers. The game features a stylized retro pixel art visual, which evokes the nostalgia of classic Game Boy Advance games, with polished and detailed animations. Hollow Knight, Silksong is the highly anticipated sequel to the acclaimed Metroidvania platform game, Hollow Knight. Developed by Team Cherry, the game puts players in the role of Hornet, the princess guardian of Hallownest, in a new adventure in a completely different kingdom. The story of Silksong takes place in a mysterious and vast kingdom ruled by silk and music different from Hallownest. Hornet, captured and taken to this new world, needs to fight enemies, seek allies, and unravel mysteries to reach the peak of the kingdom on a dangerous pilgrimage. The narrative promises to explore Hornet's ties to her lineage and unravel secrets from her past. Silksong maintains the exploration and combat gameplay characteristic of the Hollow Knight series, but with new additions. Hornet will have a new set of deadly acrobatic movements, allowing her to perform devastating attacks and use silk abilities. Well, that was the video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, stay with God, and see you in the next video.